Go. Great moments are born of great opportunity. This was a quote from one of the most memorable pregame speeches, which was made by Herb Brooks on February 22nd, 1980. During the 1980 Winter Olympic Games, history was made, and shockingly, it was not the gold medal game that was the highlight of the whole event. The United States team, coached by Herb Brooks, who was a former hockey player himself, was full of college-age amateur hockey players. However, their opponents on the Soviet team were all veterans and professional hockey players. My name is Jamie Pitts, and I will be discussing the three main highlights involved in the timeline of events: the events that led up to, the game itself, and the events that resulted in afterwards. The United States team played in an exhibition games leading up to the Winter Olympic Games, including a game against the Soviets. The U.S. once again faced the Soviets in the actual Olympic Games. The game, now known as the Miracle on Ice, was also a distraction for the citizens of the United States from the current political climate. Coach Herb Brooks and his assistants spent over a year assembling the team. Not only were physical aspects such as speed, stick handling, and discipline emphasized, but psychological testing was also included. Instead of choosing players who were the best of the best, Coach Brooks chose those who he believed could come together as one. Due to the regional rivalries of the players selected, Coach Brooks focused on their hatred on himself so that they could unite as one and lose focus of the hatred they had for each other. In September, the team began a pre-Olympic European tour, playing 61 games against foreign college teams and professional teams. The team finished with a record of 42 wins, 16 losses, and 3 tied games. The Soviets had won 5 consecutive Olympic gold medals prior to the Lake Placid 1980 Winter Olympic Games. The team was expected to once again win the gold. In the year prior to the Olympic Games, the Soviet team shut out the U.S. NHL All-Stars with a score of 6-0. Therefore, the belief that the Soviets would win gold was made stronger after the Soviets dominated the U.S. team 10-3 during an exhibition game. Not many believed that the U.S. hockey team full of amateurs could win against the Soviets, especially when the NHL All-Stars could not. Due to the results, this team was viewed as underdogs as they entered the games. The Winter Olympics were split into two pools of 6 teams. During the first round, the U.S. faced Sweden, and the game ended in a tie. The next game after was against Czechoslovakia, and it ended in a 7-3 victory. Additionally, the U.S. defeated Norway and Romania and struggled to beat Germany. The round ended in a 4-0-1 record for the U.S., which allowed them to advance to the medal round. On February 22nd, the U.S. team faced the Soviets once again. The first period ended with the game tied at 2 apiece. Once the second period started, it was noticeable that Vladislav Tretiak, the Soviet goalie, was benched. However, the Soviet team took control of the second period, ending in a 3-2 lead in their favor. With just a little over 8 minutes into the third period, Mark Johnson scored for the second time to tie the game at 3-3. Less than 2 minutes later, the puck was in the hands of their captain, Mike Eruzione, who scored against Mishkin, the Soviet goalie. This was the first time the U.S. took the lead in the game. At this point, with 10 minutes left in the game, the team really relied heavily on their goalie, Jim Craig, to protect their lead. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. This quote by Al Michaels in 1980 identified an event that no one would forget. However, that was not the end of the games. The Americans made it into the gold medal determination game. At the end of the game, the national anthem of the United States was heard playing as the team gathered on the top podium after a 4-2 victory against Finland. Although people celebrated the game against the Soviets as if it were the gold medal game, the victory against Finland still brought excitement and celebration to all of the Americans who were able to watch the game on live television. The Miracle on Ice was viewed as more than just an Olympic upset to many Americans. It was also viewed as an ideological victory in the Cold War. At the time, President Jimmy Carter had announced the United States was going to boycott the 1980 Summer Moscow Games due to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. The Iranian hostage crisis and major recession made life in America stressful. With all the negativity going on around, Americans were in need of something positive, which is exactly what a young group of college-age amateur hockey players were able to bring to them. It is believed that because of these young players, that youth hockey participation was largely increased in the mid-1980s. Herb Brooks was able to turn a team that initially seemed to worrisome that would struggle to win the Winter Olympic Hockey Champions. The event that led up to the Miracle on Ice game, the game itself, and the results of the game were three major events that occurred in 1980. A team comprised of young college players made history by defeating a team full of veteran professionals in an undoubtable miracle.